Oh, okay. That was a message I received. And then we do some interesting examples about what to deal as a judge when this happens to you in real life. And then we go to the 4 videos most of you judged. And we give our reference scores. One test we will judge like we are judging in real life. So Omar and I will do a modeling test, like how we would do it in practice, in real life, so that you know what we're discussing, what we're talking about. First of all, today is a small group, but also a big group. So maybe you have questions. Maybe we will ask you something because we have your scores. It all stays confidential and within this group. Some people are really experienced and some are less experienced. And everybody can say what they want to say and stay within the group. And I really want to say that first to you all. Omar, I always think that young horses judging is not so easy. What do you think?
Excuse me, I didn't hear. What was the question?
So today is about young horses. Do you think judging young horses is easy?
Well, I think it's absolutely about basics. So it's very important that we have everything very, very clear. The good thing about young horses is that we are not completely alone. So we can talk and discuss a little bit about with our colleagues. I think it's very important to have an open-minded. So because it could be a little bit difficult at some times, and I am sure that Mariette has a lot of stories about it. But sometimes you are like you have to be like trying to understand, but also to say your point. So the balance is always the most important. But no, I start the young horses very soon in my career. I was only a 2-star, and I did it because I really, really like it, and it's because what I did in my life, that I was always with horses, was not that difficult.
For me, young horses is really the start also for all the other classes. If I'm okay about the quality of a pace, if it's a pony or a Grand Prix horse, it will help me. Judging young horses is a team effort, and that's something I also really like. So in a team, even when the most experienced judge in the world is sitting to a new one, everybody has to say and see and talk about what they are seeing. Very often younger, newer judges say, I don't know, I'm a little bit insecure. That's not how it should be with young horses. The whole panel makes the point. And that's what we like to do today. Think about what you see. And in real life, every opinion is appreciated and we all have to do it together. Let's start with a few examples about paces. And we'll start, Leah, if possible, with trot number 1. Can you share the screen?
Yes, I also can send you all the videos, so when you have better quality. So I put it in the chat.
But if we can do it together, it's better. Yes.
Yeah. Omar, you can do it?
we will do both.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
This is for us the most... Okay.
I guess we better do something. She knows who's going to do it.
Maybe it's better to share the screen, Omar, or not?
Me or Leah? Leah, will you share the screen? I cannot hear you.
Oh, you cannot hear me? Okay, can you see my screen now?
No?
No.
No. Oh, you should be. Now?
Now we can. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes, are you ready? Here we go.
Okay.
This is, by the way, the walk. What is important in a walk? In the walk, we want to see relaxation, a clear forebeat, over track. And what we see is here is a very good horse with a huge walk, really through the body, over the back. Maybe the quality of the screen could be, of the image could be better. But you see really loose. This is a very, very good example of a top walk. If you think about a mark, you can go to walk number 2. This is something like a 9.5. I gave you we choose this exceptional good walk because very often people ask what's really a good walk. This is really a walk for a very high mark. And let's go to the second walk.
Can you see it?
No, not yet.
No.
Not yet. Okay. I think I have to select it again. Okay, now?
Yes,
Yeah. Okay.
you see number walk. And then you see a horse that's not completely over the back. If you look at the over track, there's no over track, I could say. It's unsteady with the bit. It's not relaxed. So you see potential, but because of the horse is not relaxed enough, it's just not working. So this is a walk for, just maximum a 6. There is forebeat, but not relaxed enough, not enough over track, and especially the relaxation is not there. And I know with young horses, everybody, every horse, it's the first day, a first impression, but this is not the way we want to see a walk. So this is an example of a horse who maybe has a good walk, but we can't see. And that's why it's only a 6.
Okay.
Then we go to the trot. Let's go to trot number 1.
Okay, here we go.
Here we go. This is a longer video. It's from a few years ago, and I think that most people recognize this horse. Heike had a good idea. The bar with forward should be out of the video. Okay, let's see this horse. If we talk about the trot, it has to be a 2 beat. I cannot move the bar of the video, Heike. This horse has elasticity, energy, expression. Yes, now it's gone. Someone is not unmuted.
It's not a continuous video.
No, we don't see it.
Okay.
Okay, what is very good about the preparation that Daniel and Leah did is that you can, if you go to the chat, you can see that there is a link in YouTube. So if you click that link, you can see your videos at the correct speed and everything at the same time that we are talking.
In YouTube, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do?
In the right, there is a chat going on between the participants. So the first comment was, please follow along on the YouTube to enjoy the best quality. So you can click there and then you can, the videos are selected by paces as we are talking. So you can follow it at the same time we are talking about.
Yeah. So then you need to, you can do it on a second screen.
Let me go back.
We're receiving trot number 2.
Let's continue this trot, please.
Okay.
Thank you, Leah. You see, it's easygoing. People always say expression. I found that a not correct thing to say, but this horse has expression. And especially elasticity is outstanding. I like the conformation. It's a natural uphill. Look at the difference here. I got a question about the tempo. I really like this tempo for a young horse. It's a 6-year-old. I think the tempo is maybe different in the YouTube video as we see it in this screen. If you be negative, you can see there's a little bit tilting here and the bending to the right. That's something you take in submission. But the overall quality of the trot is easygoing, elastic, big steps, lovely balance. So this is an example of a really high quality trot. I would give not a 10, because you see moments some issues with the contact, then it could have a little bit more suppleness at that moment, but that's also 9.5 something. Yeah. We go to some canter work.
You want to continue or a next video?
Yeah, canter 1.
Okay.
Will you let me try, Leah, just to see if the quality is a little bit better that I share it from my computer?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Let me try. Better?
Yeah, for me it's better.
Yes, better.
And then we go to the canter. The canter is a, well, less music is better.
Yes,
The
I take
canter
it.
is a, yeah. Omar really did his work to find now's background music. I asked him, and now we don't use it. This horse is an example of lightness, easygoing, good ground cover. Again, a good balance. It's a 5-year-old horse. I thought that maybe some people would ask. And you see how easy it's going here for a simple change, taking the weight behind, going easy forward. The ability collect is something that you already see in this horse. Then the rhythm, it's very light-footed, always uphill. What you see on the camera is that it's raining cats and dogs, but nothing is happening to that horse here. Very nice balance. If I could redesign a test, I would say I would go for a little bit more canter in a 5-year-old, but that's something else. So this is an example of a really top canter. A canter marks something like a 9.5. And then we go to canter number 2, Omar.
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
If you compare the previous canter with this, then you see a very, very big difference that we say in the air time. This horse is not really jumping. From behind, you expect more energy, more strength. And the whole time you're thinking, is this really the 3-beat or not? It's correct in the contact, but it's not really moving if you talk about the use of the body, and especially the quality of the jump. So maybe I think it sits really nice, but there's nothing really happening. Here in the extended canter, it's not really lengthening, it's not uphill enough. It's a canter we very often see, but if you're looking at for a young horse, it's just not enough quality. And if you then think about the mark, it's not below a 6, because there is 3-beat, but it should be much more 3-beat. Here in the medium is a little bit better. So again, this is just a small 6 as a score. A little bit more, not more. If you compare those two next to each other, then you see that with young horses, the top marks will be like the horse before, like 9.5, and this is still something like a 6. Horses will really are making mistakes or whatever and losing the suppleness, then you really go down. Does this make sense, these examples about what to think for a 6 and what to think about direction to a 10? When I'm judging, we will do that later in the modeling, I always think about this is a mark something like an 8, this is a mark something like a 7, and from that we go up and down. It's very annoying in a team that people say good, 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 and then at the end you ask for a mark and then they say a 7. They think, oh, then so for me it helps when I'm judging that we put a mark on the table. We can go up and down, But from that, it's easier for everybody to know where we're going. I think that's helpful for all the members of a panel. Then I have 4 examples. I know there was a seminar about judging, about interesting examples. Now, we also found a few one that you really had no clue what to do as a judge. You can do a funny and interesting one, Omar.
Yes. Hold on. Sorry about the music.
For next time, we just don't think about music.
Yeah.
Here we see a very nice horse with a good canter. Maybe could be a little bit more uphill. If you see a horse anyway, the camera is behind. I really like it. It has potential. It's clear 3 beats. And I think about an 8. Oh. And then this happens. Okay. And then the whole panel says, oh my God, what to do now? First of all, there's especially in the submission, you have to take this in consideration. But you wonder if it's also affecting the canter itself, if he stays tight or is not relaxed enough. So that's why we choose this example. And we have to wait the whole canter part, and the whole panel is thinking, oh, what should we do? But again, after the big boo-boo we saw, is the canter nice? It's correct. So at the end, the big mistake we saw is not really has effect on the canter mark. So we still decided for an 8.5 for canter, despite the big mistake. So we have to be aware that the big mistake, if it's only one moment, is more or less only that you take it down into the submission. If it would happen more, then we also have to go down, because then the canter quality also is affecting. Then we go to video number 2. Yeah. And also, this is the canter part. He has to go to canter at A, of at C. It took a long time before he's into canter. And then, it's a correct canter. There's 3 beats. It's not really uphill enough. I know this is a 7-year-old horse. He is preparing for the pirouettes. And he's just not having enough energy. And oh my God, she's really, as a judge, she's sitting like, oh, what's happening here? It's a horse with a good canter, but doesn't want to work. How do we deal with this? You see, in the basic, there is quality. And again, oh, he can't keep the canter. Oh, and then we see that he's losing some extra on X. And now you see that the horse is much better. This is funny. So the problem was that he had to go to the toilet, because I think he's used to stop at home. And suddenly in a competition, he has to go on and was not used to it. So this means that it's affecting the canter and the submission mark. But in fact, the canter mark is not that low, because after the break, you see a horse with a nice expression, clear 3 beat. And yes, you have to mention something about the activity. So it still can be a 7.5. That's why we are showing this example. And I know that this horse and submission, yeah, you have to have the whole test. We did a 6 for submission, because a horse has to go forward. And this horse had a good chance in the 2nd round at a small final to make a better performance. But you see, in fact, 2 canter parts, but the mark you give is a little bit the best out of it. That's why we're showing this part. And I can tell you, when this happens to you on a show, the whole panel is like, oh, how we deal with this. So in fact, you always reward a little bit the best part of the exercise. Because if we would talk about the first part of canter that he really didn't want to move, we would be much lower. Then we have a third example about that we as a judge are a little bit worried what to do.
Just one question.
Yeah.
There's one question from Niels. He says, "What about the tempo? You mean in this?"
No, that
in
was
this-
with the previous one
Okay.
with the trot.
Sorry, sorry.
I answered already that I
Sorry.
think that was the video.
Okay. Okay, now we go to 3, no?
To 3, yeah. That's a long video, and take a good look what you think about the horse and about the test.
Finn, vil du lige se, om ledningen den er inde på kontoret?
Okay,
Mm.
here we go. This is a 7-year-old horse. Yeah. And it's a beautiful horse. If you think about entrance, it should be more uphill, a little bit higher in pull, but extremely elastic. And you think, whoa, this is nice. Was nice. But the way he's acting in that tension, you see how quick he was behind. You really see potential, but he has to listen to the rider. Elastic and smooth. And again, the horse sees a ghost. And that's sometimes the problem with young horses. You see potential, but they have to show also a good test. And we will see the whole test, and it makes more, it's more clear what we want to show you with this. For some horses, they don't have a good score on the championship in Ermelo, but it will be a damn good horse afterwards. And that's the case with this horse. He competed also in Herning at the World Championships. But as a judge, you're really suffering. I think as a rider, maybe even more. He just doesn't relax. Yeah, you can say he has potential for a Piaf, but we don't want that on this level. And I must say the wind, look at the flags in the background, is also not helping. But I think that we all been on a show that we see a horse with potential and it's just not working. And I think that we have to be clear in our marks, and also that we cannot reward that positive, but we can also give some information that is just today. Like he liked to walk. He's still in a 4-beat, but it's not over the back. He's hurried, almost trotting here. And you feel so sorry for the rider, because it's only surviving for him. But still, a very nice horse. And in between, but again, he's a little bit in the bubble, the horse. He's not really reacting to the rider. And again, an error in the rhythm, because he's not really relaxed. And you can see it in the contact the whole time. He's a little bit behind the bit. Then we go to canter. And again, a good canter, but not uphill enough. And especially here in the extension, should be more uphill tendency, more difference. I can understand as a rider that you're a little bit too scared to do something. And you see the horses the whole time, the silhouette is the same, because he's just not opening for the rider. And again, a mistake. And then you really think, what do we do with this canter? There's 3-beat, there's light. Okay, the uphill tendency is not there. So the trot we gave for this horse an 8. For the walk, we did a 5. That's maximum. And for the canter, because it's just not relaxed enough. He doesn't take the weight because he's too tense. It's still a 7. But the mark you really have to go down is with the submission. Also, like here, didn't work.
How much low you go in the submission?
Now, I think that the 5 minus is the mark you have to give to this horse. Not more. And I can really, I know that on the show they did a 5. But I think that 4-8 or something should be really what it is. And yes, the environment, the arena and Ermelo didn't help the horse, but really a low mark. But not for the paces, except the walk. And that's something that we do wrong in real life. And again, nose more out, higher on pole. And again, a zigzag maneuver in front of the judges. And the whole time in canter, because he has freedom, but he's a little bit too high behind in group. I received a letter, Belinda asked, what do we do for general and for perspective or potential? I think that we can give not more than a 6.5, 6.8 for this. There is really quality of the horse in paces, but the mental thing of the horse, the mental behavior is also important. We will see later today an example of a horse with a really top mental expression, and that can help a lot. If a horse doesn't want to work, even the best horse in the world will never be a star. So in this case, how the horse we just saw was acting, that's why we have to go something like in a 6 mark for the perspective, because we're not sure about if he really wants to work. Then we go to the last example. This is something, I show you this example because very often, and I'm very good in it, I must say, so not. I'm always busy with the horse. I always forgot about the lines in the test. It's really important that one of you colleagues has to pay attention to the lines in the test. Look here, this horse makes an error, of course. She is also not happy. In this case, the judge was quick. But it happens very, very often that we react too late on a mistake in the program. So if you go to a competition, let's talk to each other that one colleague is responsible for the lines in the test. And that's why I made this example in it, because very often we say, was there a mistake? We're not sure. That's why I have this in this video. In the past, we had a difficult thing. It has to be a deduction of the total quality. Nowadays, just 0.5% lower if there's an error, of course, for the first mistake. That's all about why we have this horse in there. So be aware of the lines. It's not the most important, but I can tell you, if none of the colleagues is paying attention to it, you can be really in trouble. And then we go to the fun part of today, and that is the 4 tests you judged. I have an impressive score sheet that Black Horse, with help from Daniel and Leah, prepared. And Omar, we can say in general, if we all would judge, that the outcome would be nice, huh?
We are a super team.
Yeah, if all our marks were counting, I can tell you, then the score would be almost the same score that we had as reference judge. But if you look at the individual scores, then we have very big differences. So what we like to do is that Omar and I are judging horse number 1. That's horse number 1 from the young horses 5-year-old, like we are really judging in real life. And we talk about how we find our mark.
Okay, we start.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, we see a horse coming in. And then the colleagues on the long side, they can see if the horse is square and if it's on X.
Some
Okay.
counter.
Then you put that already. You say to the scribe, please say at submission, there's a problem from trot to, from halt to trot. Then we see, oh, this is not the correct horse. Yeah, we can show, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
We can do
Sorry.
this.
Okay.
It's a correct horse with a correct trot, but it's hurried.
Yeah. And the first corner was not on balance, so he needs much more half holds.
Yes. And he's a little bit on the forehand, and he's not
Yeah.
really using the body.
Yes, needs
So,
more engagement.
yeah, so I'm thinking about something like a 7 maximum.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yes, I agree. Let's see a little bit more.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. So we put a mark on the table, and from here we talk what could be better.
Yeah,
But
the
then
rhythm
is,
it's okay, but the balance is a little bit low. So let's see how it develops.
still not enough really difference in the medium. I'm looking for the sheets. And the whole test is too much on the forehand.
Yeah. Then was a little bit problem in rhythm.
Yeah. And
yeah, I kind of agree with the 7, but I will go a little bit lower because it's too much for me in the forehand. So
yeah,
I will be like 6-9 just to make like a
perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Then we saw issues with Rainback, and then we go to the walk. The walk is very clear in rhythm, but look at the contact. And I like to see a little bit even more use of the body, but I definitely like to walk much more.
Yes.
So that's something like ticking the 8 box.
Yes.
But there should be more.
I think also what it helps is which is the gait that you most like, and also that's a good reference.
Yeah. But
So,
for an 8, I want to see a little bit more relaxation. So for me, it's too hurried.
Yes.
Especially here in this part. So let's go for 7.8.
Yeah, I agree. And
okay.
Did you want the 6-9 for the?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Then we go to the canter. The canter is again a clear 3-beat. So a correct rhythm. But I don't like the freedom of the shoulder. Oh, and again, submission, mistake, changing.
So till now, and then
Yeah, in real life we also like oh. Yeah, so not good enough. And here this picture is, you can see you like more freedom of the shoulder. It's not the rhythm, but it's the way he's using the body. He always a little bit high in the croup, could take more weight behind in the transition. So the canter, despite it's a good rhythm, it's not enough ground covering. It's too much on the forehand. So something like a 7, Omar?
So do you think it's better than the trot or just more or less the same?
I like a little bit more the quality because he's not so relaxed.
Okay.
But it's...
So we can say 7.
Yeah, 7.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the last line. We have to think this also. Oh, again, really behind the vertical. That's not what we want to see. Again, for submission. So for submission, Omar, I'm something in the 6 because I had too many issues.
Many issues, the counter at the beginning. Then it's good to make some notes because sometimes at the end of the test, you don't remember what happened at the beginning.
You can mention that the first simple change was correct, but for me, it's just a 6-5 for submission in this case.
Yeah, for me too.
And for the perspective, you always look at the marks for the paces. For me, it's too hurried. And I think for a 5-year-old, it's really green. I think it should show much more already. The ability to collect, because that's really ability to collect and take weight. That's something I really doubt. So even for perspective below a 7. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think yeah, I agree completely what we just said. It's like should be more developed in the scale of training for this for a 5-year-old. So I will maybe give 6.8 or 6.9, as you said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we are ready. Then we have all the marks, and the way we're talking now, it goes quite quick. But in real life, the test is also quick. If you're judging in Ermelo or in Verden, then we have to have the marks already on paper when the horse is almost in the arena. So if I look now at your scores, then the scores we had, an end result, believe it or not, exactly of 70%. I like it, round numbers. The group
do you want Leah to share us the results of the group?
Yeah.
Yes. Can you do that, Leah, please? I think this was horse number 1, no? Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay, I have to have my nose on the screen to see this. And I don't think that I look intelligent then to you. If I look at the scores, and that's important, if you look at the average of all the whole group, then we are doing well, and then it's fine. But if you look at the trot, we gave a 6.9, and some people gave a 6, but the highest mark is an 8. And then it's really a big difference. And that's why we like to address this to you. The trot so was between a 6 and an 8. I have to have a light. Then the walk we liked had between a 6.8 and an 8.4. The canter, 6.5, 7, 8. Then submission is also interesting, between a 5.8 and a 7. And general impression is between a 6 and a 7.5. And I can imagine if I'm a rider and I received the low scores and from another colleague the high scores, then I think that I would like only the judge with the high scores. This is really a big difference, people. This is too much. So the next 3 horses we will discuss. Maybe we go even backwards in the video. It's important that we all find a little bit more or less the same mark. When we're judging in real life and we have a 0.5 difference, that's not a lot. But 2 full points, that's too much.
Do you want to go, Mariette, in specific cases for this horse, or do you want to?
Yeah, I think that's. I think that we go into individual marks more with the 3 tests who are coming now, because then maybe we can ask colleagues why they were maybe high or low, because it's always and it's easier for us, Omar. We saw the videos maybe 2 or 3 times, and I can imagine that one of the participants thought, oh, I only have 1 hour, I have to judge, and they were a little bit more quick.
Yes.
So even when you have a different opinion, it's allowed today.
Okay, the only good thing about this first horse is that I don't know, by some difficulties, 2 of the judges their scores didn't came out. So if we come back, we can come back to this one after back. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are there specific questions from you about what we did now?
Anyone?
No questions in the chat.
Oh, we end up with 6.9. I didn't remember that. I just say it. Did you?
Now you see as at the scores, when it's red, means that you're 0.5% different than the total marks we gave. But it's too many numbers and not big enough to see for everybody. But the individual scores itself are quite okay. So it's really funny, from all the 4 tests you judged, the average from you is our mark, but they're too much below and above. Shall we go to horse number 2? Because then it starts.
So if you want to see, maybe we can, I don't know if it's possible, Daniel, after the seminar, we can send them their score compares to us so they know what it was.
Yeah, they will.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, they received the information.
Okay, so you need to see horse number.
Young horse number 5, number 2.
Hold on 1 second.
It's a screen of Leah, who is now has to be
Okay.
Leah.
Leah, can you do young horse 5-2?
Yes, we are just very briefly switching to the different view so it's easier to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I have it. If they don't have it, I can share it. Okay?
And Spider too. You don't have it?
Yes, I
Yep.
do.
We currently see the PDF, so
We still have
I-
your screen, Leah.
It's your screen. You have to get out, Leah, and then I share it, the video.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Ooh.
Ready?
Ready. Then we go to horse number 2. Maybe you can stop the video first and we talk
Yes.
something before.
Yes.
If I go to horse number 2, we prepared our sheet. I have it here. With this horse, we have, again, big differences in the individual marks. Just for your information, we start now with the trot part of this horse. We have marks from 6.9 till 8.6. So that's a huge difference. And for the 6.9 is, that's the only mark below is 7. That's from one judge. And there are several 8 and 8.5s. And the 8.6 is from Amy McElroy. I don't know if she's present. We gave an 8. So that's with this horse, we gave our marks already before. Then we can all look again. And our sheet says good rhythm, a big mover, but there should be more difference in the extensions. And the horse lacking a little bit of the pushing power behind. We gave an 8.0. So let's go to the top part and we can see, I hope that you can see what we saw.
We start? Okay.
Yeah. So with every horse, we will do something different. And with this horse, you know already, we gave an 8. And you're between a 6.9 and an 8.6. It's a beautiful picture. A big mover, very expressive horse. I like the silhouette of this horse. Easy going from left to right. Maintains the rhythm. So that's definitely a mark in the 8 box. You agree, Omar?
I completely agree. It's a swinging back.
Yeah.
It's active. It's off the ground.
Yeah. But this is for me, disappointing. It should be.
Could push a little bit more.
Yeah. The pushing power is for me not enough, really enough here to go up in the 8. So it's still an 8. But for me, a little bit disappointing to go higher. And again, here, it's good following, nice rhythm, but he could be a little bit more pushing power and under. The whole picture is nice, correct. So it's good for submission. So there's a little bit more power and push, especially in the extensions. And we finally made it up for an 8. Oh. Okay, then you can stop the video,
Yes.
Omar, because now we go to the walk.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree that yes, it starts quite nice and it looks really elegant, but then when you want the wow moment, it doesn't happen. No.
Yeah, and Richard Baldwin says I gave an 8. I was little concerned with weakness, Heinz, and Heinz more under, and that's exactly maybe in different words what we said. Pushing power, a little bit smell swinging under. It's a nice photo, but it could work more from behind for an 8, for higher than an 8. And a lot of people had the correct mark. Few were higher, and I think that is 6.9. I cannot see the remarks for that reason, but that's really too low.
Yeah.
As a judge, I always say I can defend some marks up and down, and I think that at least this should be a 7.5 or higher till an 8.5. If you have that in that line, that's correct. But 7.5 or lower is not enough today for this horse. Is that clear for you why we're doing in this case?
Oui.
Yeah.
It's clear.
Yeah. Then we go to the walk. Oh yeah, first the rein-back, that's also important. And in this case, oh my, and again, I didn't see this coming.
Yeah.
Submission to your scribe, mention it at the submission, because for me
Yeah.
that was completely unexpected. And then we go to the walk, and I'm happy again. A good walk, good overtrack, loose, relaxed. Whoa, this is something in the 8.5 box, don't you think, Omar? So
Yes,
far?
for sure. Could be
Yeah.
a little bit more. Let's see
Yeah, the second line, diagonal on the free rein, good
Yeah.
overtrack, good marching. I'm happy. Maybe
Yeah,
8.5?
yeah, but let's see
Oh yeah.
Let's see it now.
No, it's
Oh.
not gonna be.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. You can stop the video. That was really expensive for the 8.5 you're thinking about. They were losing the clear 4 beat at the end. Do we really go down or just penalize that, Omar? What do you want?
I think we have to go down.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what sometimes happen in the real life, no? We want to give the score, and for example, I know that you do it on purpose, no? That, oh, are you happy with the 8.5? And you want me to say yes because we already know that there was a problem coming, huh? But it's also in real life, we have to take care and we have to pay a lot of attention that it has to be when it's over.
Yeah. So in this case, we went down below the 8 to a 7.7. Because the horse was losing the 4 beat. And yes, I did it on purpose because we really have to pay attention till the whole time. And especially the last steps before canter can be really, let's say, surprising. And if I now go to your scores, I need an extra light, otherwise I cannot see the marks. The marks for the walk, believe it or not, were 2.2 difference. Some colleagues gave a 6.5. And there were and there was also an 8.7. So
no, sorry, there was a 5.9.
No, not for this horse on my
Yes. In the walk?
No.
Am I in the wrong place?
I think so. When we have too many marks. Now I have to see it again for me from what I checked yesterday evening, maybe from today somebody did extra, but yesterday evening the highest mark was between 6.5 and the lowest at 8 point of the highest 8.7. I think this is too much.
Starts 5.9.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure we are in the right course. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it came today.
Yeah. So this is too much. We have to give the correct information to the riders, what we want to see and why. And if one judge gives 6 something and the other a high 8, this gives confusion. But this is of course, we selected the videos before. This is the best example that it can happen if you didn't pay attention to the end of the walk. But in this case, we have to go down, not for a 6.5, but just below a 7, because you have to see it. And a lot of people did see, a lot of marks are like 7.8, 8.0, 8.2. And I think that, let's say, between a 7.7 and an 8.3 is acceptable in this case. Okay?
Richard, you said you gave 8 for the walk, or it was for the trot? No, it was for the trot,
For the
I
trot,
guess.
for the trot, yeah.
Okay.
Then we go to the canter, and that's also really, you can stop at Oma, because I gave the marks before. The canter work, we go between a 7.2 and a 9.2. And here we go. Here we go to the canter.
I think there's a problem with Kirsten. Did you meant to give a 10, or maybe was a problem with your? Just answer me in the chat, but then we continue to the count.
Yeah. Then we go to the canter. A question from Richard about the difference in marks. We do that later, Richard. We go to the canter. And now what I like is a good rhythm, really a 3-beat. I like the balance of this horse. Nice in rhythm, nice in balance. Good a good silhouette. Enough self-carriage. Oh, that's also something in the 8 box for me. Oh, that was a little bit disappointing. It didn't take the weight behind. And going to canter was a little bit slow. So the ability to collect is not really, and again, this should be more risk. Oh, it's a little bit the same tempo. I want to see a little bit more reaction in the body. So I'm lowering my mark because there should happening more in all the transitions. And as I said before, if I have the power to change the 5-year-old test, please more canter. So I think that an 8 is good enough. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's good quality, but could show a little bit more difference.
Yeah. So, and especially also the willingness to collect, to take weight. That's on the paper for 5-year-old. I underline that because that's the reason why I stick on the 8.
Okay.
Yeah, and that means that if you look to the 9.2, it's really too high. There should, something should happen when you give a 9.2. It's more or less, maybe I'm Dutch and maybe a wrong expression. It's more like a train. It has the same tempo the whole time and it's moving, but it cannot change quickly to a higher or to a lower speed. And that's what you see. So we finally gave an 8. And I think that it could be like 7.5, 8.5. All those marks, I do not disagree. But 9.2, I think that this girl, Joyce, is really happy with that. But something should happen. If you think about the example we showed of the horse before, and there you see there's a big difference. The example of the canter we showed with St. Paris with a 9.5. There you see quality, reaction, something happening in the body. And in this case, it's all the same. So every stride is nice, but it's too much the same. Okay.
Any questions? You say something, Richard. Walk, are you happy with the difference between marks with the 2 horses in walk? Do you want to answer?
Were you happy? I think that's a question for him. We gave for the 7.7 and 7.8, we have more or less the same. I found it really complicated to give a correct answer. Sometimes you see completely different walks and it's the same mark. But for me, it's really tricky when a horse is losing the 4-beat. So my gut feeling says that I like horse number 2 more in the walk. But losing the clearness of the walk is really, if you think about going to a pirouette, a walk pirouette or more collection, dangerous. So at the end of the day, the marks are more or less the same. I had a better feeling with the second horse, but when it's losing the clearness, then I'm always a little bit, worried. Does that make sense for you?
Hi, Mariette, can you hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Oh, hi, Mariette. My question was just a little bit along the lines that the first horse, I would agree, it didn't have as much quality within the walk, but it had a more secure adjustability to it. Whereas the second horse had more quality in the bigger walk, but then was really fragile in the adjustability, and whether or not adjustability and keeping the rhythm was more of a priority over the horse just having a big free walk. That's my question. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it makes completely sense, and this is really also the nice discussion in the panel. For sure, that would be the question in the panel that some colleagues would say, "Whoa, losing." But I must say, it's just a few meters. Maybe it's also tension with this horse, so that's why if it would be nice next year to see this horse in a 6-year-old class. Maybe we can ask the girl how it will be when she really has to ask for collection and has to do the pirouettes. So for me, I'm a little bit still positive with the horse number 2. I also take it a little bit down in submission. But you're really correct if you say when the rhythm is in danger, then we really have to be aware what we're giving for the marks. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Then we go to the more questions. Did we do already the submission and the perspective?
No.
No.
We didn't.
Okay. If you go to the sheets for submission, on my sheet I mentioned more steady contact, big resistance in reinback, a good straightness overall, and it's really according to the training scale. We gave an 8.1. If I look to your scores, gehoorzaam, it's between 6. I'll take the latest scores. More. Then it's between 6.8 and a 9.1, huh?
Yes.
A 6.8 and a 9.1. If you're a rider, I think that you're lost when you get these sheets. The 6.8 is only for, I can be easy for that. Only for the issue in the reinback, it's really too negative. If you start that way, I can imagine that you lower the whole way, but only for the reinback. For the rest, easy and nice contact. That's really too low. The 9.1 is too high because the horse had the issue in the reinback, but also like didn't really react enough and all the, oh, this is nice what they are doing. Are you doing this, Daniel?
No, my colleague Leah is doing it, so now we have to see it better.
Yeah. So then you see the submission. That means what does 4 people have a 7.5 and 4 and 8 and 2 is 7?
That is correct.
Yeah. On my paper, I have much more marks.
Or maybe we took the wrong horse. Sorry. Let's quickly check. Yep. Okay, so we will switch to the right one.
Yes. This is something also a learning process, how we can share all those detailed information with you. So at the end of the day, it can be just like an 8.1. A lot of people had 8, 8.4, 8.2, but I think that a 6.8 and a 9.1, the difference between them is too much. Then for perspective, we wrote down attractive horse with 3 good paces, pay attention to the walk, nice presentation. We finally gave an 8.0 for perspective. And when I look at your marks, you differ between, again, 7.4 and the 10. But I think that the 10 is just in love with the horse. That's not really realistic. the average of all the marks is an 8.2, and that's more in line with our mark.
Oh yeah, I believe our system isn't showing the 0.1. That explains why there are not as many visible.
You
Okay.
only show the 0.5s, not the decimals.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is for us a learning process for next time, because then you could see more. But you see that, yeah, we have to have the decimals to show what's really realistic, Daniel.
I agree. Lesson learned.
Yeah. So we saw two completely different 5-year-old horses. Our score was from 70 to 79.6. So let's say that's an average of 10%. Yesterday evening, when I prepared this evening, you were between 73 and 85. So again, we were in the middle. But here you see that some people were, when you're red, that means that you're 5% off track. And I hope that with our information, we could be more clear to you what our score was. Other questions about horse number 1, 2?
Sorry, it's very interesting with this black horse system that if you see on the left is our mark between Mariette and me, and then we didn't put the name of the riders in the top of the judges, I'm sorry. So, but if it's in red, it means that it's a large difference, plus 3.5 difference. So we will send you, I will take care with Daniel that we will send you all your results so you can check if it's green, it means that you are up completely on the spot. But if it start getting yellow and then red, it's a little bit dangerous. Does it make sense to everyone?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
So for everybody, it's a learning process, and looking to a young horse on a video is more complicated than in real life. I personally like to listen to a horse. It helps me if I can hear a horse. Yeah, that's maybe stupid. And I always found that difficult on the video. So if you're off track, don't be only worried. Just look at us and what we did and try to learn something. There's a question. I think I made the mistake of something judging as exercise. Yeah, but that's really what's happening. If you're not used to judge young horses, then you're looking at exercises. And some countries have other classes for young horses than the FEI. But in this case, it's the trot, walk, and canter is about quality. And it's not about the most perfect half pass or shoulder in or simple change. So, yeah, you have to learn that. I think that's a good reaction. Thank you for that. Yeah. And then we go to two very interesting 6-year-old horses.
Just one question. You want to see the gray one before?
Yeah. I think it's better to start with the gray one. Yeah. I think that's horse number 2.
Oh, can you stop sharing, Leah, please, so I can do it?
Yeah. Yeah, the gray one. Can you stop it?
Yeah, sorry.
No, sorry. I'm so happy that Omar and I were really prepared this really on a nice way. And I was so happy there was someone who said, I can help you with the technique, but otherwise I would never, ever start this. The 6-year-old.
We even choose nice music, but the music is off.
Yeah. Next time we do a dance program, Omar.
No, it's okay.
He really chooses good music. Then we go to the 6-year-old test. And then the results are more funny, if I can use the word. And of course, as course directors, we can choose some nasty examples of, so we tried also something with the 2 videos. What we saw were 2 complete different horses. We saw one horse here, the gray one, who is a Spanish horse, a prey. And there's one thing outstanding with this horse. That's his willingness to work. It's the top example of an obedient horse. I would say a horse we all are looking for because he really tries. And he's also making a little bit camouflage. He's hiding a little bit that maybe it's not the best horse in the world. But because he's so willing, he's a little bit cheating on you. And that's what we also saw on the results. So we don't go to the end result immediately, but we have for this horse a score, and you really, there are some colleagues who are really much lower. So the top score is more or less a little bit higher than what we are, but some colleagues were not high enough with the submission of this horse. And I think that when we see this again, look what this horse does wrong. Hardly nothing. So that's why I start to talk about it. We really have a really high mark for submission. And that really helps this horse to go up. And that's why we have also a higher mark for perspective. Because if you look at the trot and you look at the walk, we are not really overwhelmed by emotions. But because this horse is so damn willing to work, it really comes more close to what we want. Let's start with it, Omar. And you can talk. You can start with him.
Always, well, the confirmation, it's a prey. I think it's a good looking horse. The rhythm is correct. I would like to see a little bit more elasticity, but since now it's on the frame and in it has a good contact.
Yeah, this horse, you cannot say that he has a good rhythm, but he has a fairly good rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a lot of freedom of the shoulders, but not always enough connected from behind. That's why he's a little bit unbalanced in the top line. But he's so willing. Look, easy from left to the right. A beautiful picture here. Look at the contact.
Yeah.
Silhouette under, yeah, really nice. But it's not the biggest, the most flashy mover, not the most energy behind or lift behind. I like the freedom of the shoulders. You really see difference. But behind, if you talk about top scores, I really want more pushing power, like Constanza also wants. So this trot is just something in the 7 box. It's not an 8, but because it's so well done and well executed, I think something like a 7.5. Let's wait and see how it ends up. What do you think, Omar?
Yeah, what I like is that he really make the difference. No, he can really go, come back. You know, it's yes, we are in, as we say, we are in love of how he deals with things, with the exercise, with the movements.
Yeah. So nice picture, fairly good rhythm, more pushing power behind, more elasticity. He could be more under here.
Yeah.
So the end of the day, 7.5, I think it stays. But so well done. Look at the contact. The rider and the horse really has this is teamwork. Could bend a little bit more here. But so easy going. So 7.5 for the trot. And we are impressed about submission. Oh, now it's a little bit. This is hurried now, my video. I'm looking.
I think the first one was better. It was more ground. This one was a little bit, and it's a little bit the tendency, no, of these horses.
Yeah. Rainback could be more fluent and more direct.
Yeah. Do you want to stop or we continue?
Continue with the walk.
Okay.
Let me go to the walk. I think it's It's a correct forebeat. I like the relaxation. And then I look at the overtrack and I think, oh, that's normal. So again, not an 8. But I like the relaxation.
Yeah, the rhythm.
Yeah, and it's always clear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I cannot say it's a good walk because then I want to see more overtrack. The rider really tries to make bigger steps, but look, it's just not even 2 foot, 1.5, 1.5 step. So
Yeah.
the same mark, I think, as a trot.
Yeah,
You agree?
but it gives the rhythm in when we take the reins.
Yeah. You can stop the video. Then we go to on paper to see what.
On paper, we have scores from 6.5 to 7.9.
Yeah. It's really funny. All the marks are on my sheet green, so none of us is really in disagreement with us. We have no 8s. So we see that there should be more quality, more overtrack, more use of the body. But in fact, we agree really a lot. And the difference here is between the highest and the lowest judge is 6.9 till 7.9. So that's much more together than what we had with the previous 2 horses. Then we go to canter.
Okay.
And look at the submission, what this horse does for the rider. Oh, I like the balance.
Yeah.
Nice outline. Big neck in front of you. Yes, again, here there could be more jump behind, more power, more scope, yes.
The line change was easy.
Yeah. Could be more straight. For me, I like the canter the most. What do you like, Oma, you too?
I agree, yes. And it's always the same height. That it's not very common to see, no?
Yeah.
The pole is always
very
like
nice
picture.
Yeah, very nice picture. And again, you see here from a side, he should and could do more from behind.
Yeah.
But for me,
is the highest mark from the gates. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this is in the 8 box.
Yeah.
Lovely expression. I love the contact of this horse.
Yeah.
And I think it sits really nice. You really could sit well on this horse. And yes, for really high marks, there should be more scope, more power. We finally gave an 8 for this horse. The negative thing was he should have more power behind. Yeah. And then we have a nice hold square. And then we go to the mark, then we really do not agree at all. This is the mark that
we need to talk.
Yeah, now we need to talk because the Spanish Federation is killing us if we give these marks.
From 7
Maybe
to
it's
9.1.
No, it's from a I have to write. It's where are we, Omar? It's from
in the counter? Oh, sorry.
The submission. The submission is from a 5.5. No, wait. I have the wrong. Oh.
No, submission is from 7 to 9.
7 to 9.
Yeah.
That's really a big difference. We had some issues if horse number 1 was the gray order. That's why I made a mistake. We have difference from 7 till 9.1, and that's a lot. And I think that's too much.
Yeah.
If we have a horse for a 6-year-old with these changes, with this lovely contact, if you discuss something, it's the rein back. I think that this mark for submission should be really high. For your information, we did an 8.9. And this is nice what Daniel is showing us now. But I cannot see the marks on the... A happy horse. Thank you, Niels Erik. This is a happy horse and a very uncomplicated horse. So that's why we gave the 8.9. especially for the contact. And yes, everything could be more and even better for higher marks. But if we don't give these marks to this horse, where do we end up on a show? This is the example how a horse could and should be ridden for a 6-year-old. No pressure, really on his own, correct training scale. We had some discussions, Omar and I, that maybe a 9 also would be possible. At the end, I always listen to Omar. He said 8.9. So, that's why that's why we put this horse in the video. This is so over positive correct that that everything below an 8.5 is just not acceptable. If I'm really honest about submission. I do not mind that people have more than a 9, but I can tell you we judge a lot. We saw a lot of videos, but I hardly see so many horses with such a nice submission. So that's why it's in this seminar. And then we go to perspective, and then suddenly it's more complicated. It's very good if you see about the submission. The paces are a little bit fairly good till good, more like normal. So we finally made an 8.0 for perspective because we need a better trot and a better canter to be higher. And then and that's really funny, your marks are between exactly the 7.0 and a 9.0. So we are in the middle, but for the rider, it's complicated when he has a 7 and a 9. I gave 7.5 and trot too, but it bothered me the way how the horse brings up his leg. That's a little bit the way it's moving. All the prey horses, maybe you kill me when I say this. When I do a horse inspection with Spanish horses, I always hope for really good colic and even a better vet because they all move. If I use the word funny, then you kill me. They move different than the warm blood horses. So what you see really was there, but that's in the horse in the left and in the right shoulder. So don't go too low for that, but the 7.5 is correct. These horses move different than the warm blood horses. Did I forget something, Omar?
No. I just want to read one comment from Heike. And if you can turn on your microphone, Heike, it says, I was low in submission and perspective, even he's an angel, with no resistance and willing to work because I thought more around the paces mark and link the perspective more to the paces over track and engagement than to this great behavior.
Yeah, I was too hard on him.
Yeah, but that's nice. We can show in a seminar. When it's easy, we would have selected other videos, but that's why we choose this horse because it's in fact a little bit more like a top normal horse, but very, very good rideable. So that's why you still can make a change. And I think you explained yourself really well. I like that. Thank you. Yeah, makes sense. Are there more questions or? Because I'm not in the chat.
Then Chihiro Dex says, I gave 7.5 in trot too.
Yeah.
It bothered me the way how the horse bring up his leg. It looks for me like stroking, not bringing his forelegs straight up. Do you consider?
Yeah, that's why I explained that's the way a lot of those prey horses are moving. You see, it is different afloop. Yeah, I don't know the English word for that. It moves different. That's typical for those horses, but it's very even. So, and that's why we also are not higher than a 7.5. So I took that down in account. And Richard asked, would you take into account needing more lateral suppleness in trot for submission? I was a little, your 8.5, I think that's really correct in the line we want to have. It has a little bit influence on that's why Omar said, I don't want to give a 9. So lateral suppleness is also taken into account why we are not giving the 9. Yeah. Well done. So it's a nice example. If you really present the horse really well, you still can have a good score. We really liked this writing. That's why we showed it to you. Then we go to the next horse, the 6-year-old horse.
Yes, I will. Yes, perfect.
Yeah. So, before we start the test, we start with the results first. I have so many results that sometimes I don't know where I have to look now. 6-year-old horse number 2. Oh, this horse is complicated because you see, it's completely the other way around. You see a horse with maybe some quite okay paces, but you struggle the whole test with submission. At least we did. So it's just the other way around. And if I look to your scores, yeah, we had for this horse between 64 and 77.8. That's 15% difference. And if I look at the reason why, is that if you go to submission, there are some colleagues who even did a 7 for submission for this horse. And there's one thing sure, that's a no-go.
7-2.
Oh, 7-2.
Yeah, but you don't have the last ones that came in.
Yeah. So that's really too high. So again, it's not when you judge 6-year-old horses, not about exercises. But if so many exercises are not working, yeah, then you have to ask yourself what you have to give. In my opinion, this mark for submission, the only mark is below a 6. I cannot even think about a 6 or even more.
Okay.
So I think if you start about that, and then we're going to look at the test from scratch on. Okay, here we go. Nice horse, nice conformation. A little bit busy with the mouth. Oh, we have thunder here. Okay, that was not really straight out of the hold, not really on the age of the rider. And he's uneven due to contact issues in the corner. He's coming to, I like him.
Incredible, because since the beginning you can see what it's going to be like, no?
Yeah. So in between you can say he has a good rhythm on straight lines and good freedom of shoulders, but you should do so much more from behind. A little bit in 2 parts. Should be much more connection, more engagement. And still busy mouth. You see that he's moving his jaws. For me, this is a little bit disappointing. He has a nice bounce, but not really moving. Again, issues with the balance in the top line. And again, a lack of engagement. And every time she asks for an exercise, like here, it's not really bending in the shoulder in. You see that the contact is not steady. When she's not asking, then it's okay. Now it's a little bit on the forehand, is losing his, that is high enough in the pull. So a little bit the train when it's straight is okay, but when she's asking for something, now he's only bending in the neck and not in the body.
A little bit tilted.
And tilted, yeah. And not bending in his body. If you compare that to the gray one, it's also in the half pass a big difference. He's slowing down in tempo. So for me, it's 7 something. What do you think, Omar?
Yeah, I think I don't hate him, but I mean, I don't know. It's kind of normal.
Yeah,
so
normal.
I think 7 will be the correct mark.
Yeah, also here, lack of pushing power, not enough under, no real transition. For a 6-year-old, you want to see a transition and you can stop the video.
Yeah, the trot is, it's there. I can say it's working in a way, but it's nothing relevant, but rhythmical. But then we have all this contact and connection. So
yeah, what I found difficult when I had to give a mark for this trot, I like the trot when it's going straight, but every time she is asking something, then I don't like it and it's not working. And now I have to think to you, Heike. In this case, all the exercises are now influencing my mind so much that I think that a 7 is more than enough. Does it make sense how I explain it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
So we decided a 7, and also, and on the sheet I underlined impulsion, because I think it's, I think when she's asking more, and we will see more in the test, that's the reason that we really have problems, I think. We go to the walk.
some people really like it, no? This trot. We go from 6.5 to 8.6, but then we can come back to this.
Yeah, we do that later, because I think this horse needs really discussion. I found this horse, I found it complicated. Oh, now I know again something for the submission. You know, this is a horse as a rider. If you don't touch me, I do nothing wrong. But the moment she just asks a little bit from him, then he just doesn't want to. And again, this also looks nice at first impression. Is a clear 4-beat, but he's not really using the body. He could march more. That's something with the relaxation I'm missing. So every time my first impression is okay, and when I go into more details, I think.
You start with a higher mark than what we end.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and you can stop it. Like the gray one, we started lower and ended up a little bit higher. But the more I look at this horse, I see all kind of details I don't like. So we ended up with a 7.4, and you were between, and that's again between a 6.3 and an 8.3. So maybe we see this horse a second time. You really see nice parts, but you have to look till the end of the walk part. That when the moment she's asking something, he's just really not reacting. And yes, Constanza, we really take this down into submission too. Then we go to the canter. Look at the contact, it's strong. And again, a 3-beat. Could be more uphill, it's a little bit high in the croup. There's correct freedom. She's giving the reins, but nothing happening. And
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what we do in real life also. And then she's changing already too early, not where you should change. So she has to correct. So that's again going down in submission. And again, if you don't ask, I will do my job. Otherwise, I'm naughty. No transition. But in fact, you recognize a 3-beat. There's enough ground cover. But when you think about ability to collect, again, bad contact. He's really not taking the weight behind. But if you only look at this part, it's still okay. So we gave a 7.4 for canter, and at every transition, he's cheating on you. And then to the hold. And even now, he's not happy. Look at the contact. You see the teeth. So for the Canter, we gave a 7.4, but then we go to the mark that we really have to discuss, and that's the submission. The submission. Some people gave a 5.5. We fully support you, but there was also a 7.2. And I think if you compare this to the previous one, and then it's funny, the 7.2 did only an 8.8. I would say if you would give then a 10. So we really have to go down in submission. We did a 5.8, and one of my colleagues who also saw this class said only a 5.5. And I think that the only possible answer here is below a 6. Everything a 6 is too much.
Is there any question? Is somebody speaking? Okay.
Yeah. Constanza says he's not willing to cooperate. No, he's what I said. If you do nothing, I do nothing. But he's not with the rider. If you compare that to the gray one, who really was, they were a team. This was a girl sitting on a horse trying to do the 6-year-old test. And you can see the variation now between a 5 and a 7. It's a nice pyramid. But I think if you now we discuss it so much that everybody agrees that it should be below a 6 with so many mistakes. If you think about a normal test about marks, it's really low. No first change. We even have zeros on the protocol. You know what I mean? So really low. Then we go to perspective, and then it's funny again.
We go from 6.2 to 7.9.
Yeah, and I think that's really high. If a horse is not willing to work, I think that most of you are riders. Even the best horse, when he doesn't want to do the job, sell him or don't try, because it's not going to work. And this case, this horse doesn't do the job for the rider. So for perspective, we gave a 6.5. And if I'm correct, there's also a 7.9 for perspective. That's really not possible. That's an 8 in terms of judging. So we have to be more strict when it's not willing to do the job. You have to take that also in perspective. I see a question again. Let me see.
Mariette, sorry, can I speak to you?
Yes,
Eugene
sure.
speaking.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry. Just a question to underline something. More or less, my score were next to you. 7.2 for trot, 6.8 for walk, 7.5 for canter. But I went down for submission because the resistance starting from the beginning to the end of the test. And is 6 years old. If I found the resistance just at the beginning, is a slightly a venial mistake, but continues all the test. And really strong resistance. And for this reason, I went down under red line for submission.
What did you give, Eugenio? Because I don't see your scores on the...
I gave a 4 for submission, because my reason resistance were around all the tests from the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that we don't have a good feeling, but if we have a 4 from you and for you mean submission, of perspective submission?
No,
submission.
And so the other scores, we are really next to you. I gave 7.2 for trot, 6.8 for walk, 7.5 for canter, and for perspective, I gave 6.3 because now follow the scale of training, not enough supple not in a good training.
I only can say, Jenny, I understand your 4. I think it's too strict. And if I look at the scores of all my colleagues, then the closest colleague to you gave a 5.5.
Okay.
So I understand your feeling, but if you give a 4, then it's really rearing, rein back. Then we really have even more issues. I think that a 4. No, I don't think. It's just too harsh. I can imagine that if one of you gave a 5, my heart can follow you, but that's the lowest you can go for this. In my life, I went in, I think it was Verden, years and years ago, we gave a 4 for submission. But that was a horse with his chin on the chest, completely wearing, completely hysterical in the test. That was really, really bad. Maybe we would go down even more now. But a 4, I understand your feeling, but in this case, and all your colleagues are saying the same, it's too strict. It's too strict.
Yeah, because I follow you, definitely. Yeah, you have a really huge experience. And I put the difference in between the gray one. Yeah, underline. For the gray one, I was for submission 8.5. I gave, not far from your.
Yeah.
Was really okay. Was the highlight of this horse. Was happy from the beginning to the end with a good harmony with the rider. And this is the opposite, the second one. The second one didn't show harmony at all. I saved the gates, definitely. The highest score for the gates was Canter. But for submission, in my small experience, I think we have to need to give a track to the rider. You are in a good track or not a good track? Yes, you are right. Also, 5.5 is not a good track. You are right. Okay, this is. Thank you very much, Mariette. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I really like it. That's what I like about this discussion, that we really talk what we think. And I understand your feeling, and I'm also not very positive. But judging with young horses, we always say when your blow is 6, it's far from good.
Okay.
So, and then I think that a 4 is really a statement, and it's too strict. And yeah, I would be higher. I would be a little bit higher. And if I look at all your colleagues, they really listen to you really well. I think that next time everybody will be more strict.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
I think a little bit is that we think in a 4 for an exercise, and then we try to bring it to the young horses, and it's a little bit it's another feeling of using the marks in young horses. Mm-hmm.
I think that you really said that really well, and Daniel shows us now already the perspective. We did a 6.5, and I saw that somebody said, try a new rider. I think that's something good, but if you're the owner, maybe you want to ride the horse yourself. But there's really a big difference between the 6-year-old gray one and this one.
For sure, yeah.
I think that we are almost ending our online seminar now. It was our first time. I hope that we made ourselves clear enough. Always complicated on a screen, and we cannot really talk to each other. I think it's important that after we've seen these 4 videos, that we can see that there's really difference, that you have to go up and down, and that you have to stay focused till the end. Think about the walk of horse number 2. And when it's good, like the gray one, you really have to go up, even if you don't like or are not so impressed by the gaits of this horse. In real life, judging young horses is so much easier than just alone behind the screen, because there's always one colleague in the team that has a different opinion and goes up and down, and then you discuss, and then you really learn from each other. That's what I like. I really like Young Horses Judging the best, because for me it's like a team-based learning. I see something, but sometimes I don't know how to address it, and then like other colleagues say, and then you really grow into it and you see more. And I think that's what we did this evening also with your comments and reactions. I think it's important for us that you evaluate also how this seminar worked for you, what was top and what was not good. So please send us to us, because we want to do better also next time. Omar?
Yes, I will send everyone a survey, because we want your feedback. We are doing everything from the IDOC for education, and I think we will be better with all the situations in the world that it's happening if we are better judges. So I think, in my personal feeling, that's why I pursued Mariette. Well, it was very easy, but sometimes it's not that easy. But I think this is very important to us, and we are always learning and trying to improve. So feel free to answer. Yes, the format is long, it's short, it's too complicated. If we have to do it in advance, it's better at the moment. I think it's really good. What I really like from this one is that you send us all the videos before, Mariette, so we have time, because sometimes you are in the moment and you are not just trying to catch the mark. But here you can see it in your house, do it at your own time, going back and forth. That was really good for me. And then we have all these results to discuss about.
Yeah. And judging is not easy. And then I end today with something that I had my own experience, and I told Omar, judging young horses is teamwork. And even if you're experienced or not, we all have to make a final mark. What happened to me once on a show, that there was a horse, and the president of the ground jury was really a famous judge, and really did much more than I did. Wanted a high mark for something. I was sitting on the long side. I was not really shy, because I never was shy, but I was a little bit lower, and I said, no, I want that mark because that and that reason. And then what happened was that my colleague switched off the microphone and just mentioned his mark. So I was completely put outside of the competition. I was shocked. I was pissed, if I may say so. But that's something I learned. We all have to do this together. And if you're experienced or not, everybody's opinion is important. And if you really disagree in a team, and that happens sometimes people from the long side have really a different view than a short side, then you still have to make one final mark. And then just give the average. And that's the job of the president of the ground jury. The president of the ground jury with young horses is not the boss. He or she is not the one who knows better, but he or she is the one who has to make the final decision. And you always do that together. So when I'm really worried what to do, I always say, okay, let's do the average in the middle of those two marks. And that's also something that we can discuss and have to learn. I really can tell you, sometimes it's really different from the long side and the short side. I found it quite fun. Now after 2 hours, I'm not so nervous anymore. Before I was quite nervous. Thank you all. Please give us feedback how we can do better. Maybe we spoke too fast or whatever. And otherwise, Omar, I promise you, I really liked the preparation of it. So if you want to do another one, I'm in for it too. So that's
I think we have to do the continuation of this one for the 7th year. I think that we can do it before you get very busy for the Olympics, if it's possible. Now I am putting into pressure to you in front of everyone.
No, I can have it from you. Thank you, people from Black Horse, for all your work, the videos. Without your help, it was not possible. And thank you for participants that you listened to us for 2 hours. And let's hope that we see each other again.
Just one more thing. The video is going to be available in the IDOC new webpage, which is really wonderful. So if you are members, you can log in, and maybe in 1 week or 2 weeks, I will upload it.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Well done. Well done.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good
Thank you.
night.
Bye-bye.